All right, as part of my event write-up, I want to just do a quick video of how to go through this checklist. And I don't have all the same tools that they have at the event, but I have tools that work. So, and if I don't have the tool, I'll kind of explain what you'll do. Yeah, I'm gonna run through this checklist with you as part of my event write-up. So first, you're gonna check the deflectors, shrouds, covers, fasteners, and things like that. So that stuff, like half the sheet you're gonna do without even taking anything apart. So the deflectors, shrouds, covers, take a glance, look at anything that's like, you know, not looking good. For my event, one of these stickers was ripped in half, and so you just gotta find out the sticker number and ask for that as a replacement part, and then you're gonna put it back when you get it from them at the end. But yeah, stickers, shrouds, covers, like sometimes this can be broken, or that's supposed to be missing. There's nothing there, even though it kind of looks like something's missing. But that's good. If that's broken, then you want to have that replaced. But for this one, everything looks good. So moving on, warning labels are down there too. I already mentioned that. I had a ripped one, so yeah, I had to get a new one to recover, to place over it. Next, you're gonna check the throttle, make sure it operates smoothly. That's pretty simple. You can see it moving down there and it's operating smoothly when I pull the trigger. Multi-function lever, we don't really have one on the BG50. So actually they had us cross that off in the event briefing. But you can check the choke, that the choke is operating. It has three, you know, you can go full choke, middle, and then open. That works good. So next you're gonna go to the starter rope. Basically, you just wanna make sure that it's not frayed, and when you pull it out the full length, that it's the right length and that it would work properly in the field if you needed to use it. It's not gonna break, it's not frayed, it's the right length, it's good. The air filter is worn or damaged. So that one, you're gonna take this part off right here. Just like that. You can take the air filter out, you can inspect it. That looks clean on this side, and you want to check the back side as well. If there's anything or dirt on this side, it means that there's some air coming in through the engine, some dirt's in the engine, it's not good. So that should be clean. If it's not, then that's a big red flag. If this has any dirt or debris, you can just kind of like tap it and have all the dirt and debris fall off. If it's really dirty, you can ask for a replacement part. This was clean for me during the event, so I would say it's clean. Check it, it's good. Then as you take things apart, you can kind of just make sure you have a good way to organize all the parts, keep them together so you can put it back quickly. Evidence of dirt in carburetor bore or on choke butterfly. So that is right here. As you move the choke, you can see into the carburetor, and you're basically just looking, they'll give you a flashlight and you can kind of look down there and just see if there's any dirt or debris. Mine's pretty clean, and it was pretty clean during the event as well. So that one's pretty simple. Check that, it's good. The spark plug connection and terminal spring, high tension lead connection. That's this right here. So for that, you just wanna kind of wiggle it off. Side to side, it'll wiggle off. You're just checking to see that it's, the spark plug is good condition, that connection piece right there is good condition, and that in here it's, you know, it's snug when you put it on, or when you pulled it off. Was it snug? Was it kind of tricky to get off? Because that's how it should be. It shouldn't just slide off really easily. That means it's got good connection. It looks clean. It looks like it's good. So I would check that. Spark plug present, spark present with the Stihl ZAT4 tester. So for this one, as it's taken apart, they have a tool called the ZAT4 tester. I don't have it with me now, but what you basically do is you plug one end into this and you plug the other end onto that. And then you would set this on the ground and you would run the pull cord a few times, and what would happen is if the ignition switch is on, when you pull the cord, a little light will show up showing that the spark plug is working. And then beyond that, when you turn the ignition switch off, you do it again and the light should not work, and that means that the ignition switch or the kill switch works properly. And that's the next thing too. The ignition shutoff function works. So I checked both of those. I didn't have any issues with those during the event. The spark plug is the correct heat range. Spark plug carbon fouled, sooted over, normal in appearance, spark plug gap, and other observations. For this, you're gonna get this tool here or something similar, and you're gonna just take the spark plug out. And this is something that was wrong actually for my event. And the spark plug sometimes is pretty tricky to get off. It's a little bit, it's a little bit tight sometimes, so you gotta kind of put some muscle into it, but this was wrong for me. It was the wrong spark plug in the engine. So what you wanna do is you wanna check it, and it's got like a number. This is the Bosch. It says it's the this is the Bosch WSR6F. That's a correct spark plug. They gave me one that said like NGK BPM6, which was wrong. You can have an NGK BPM something. It's in the notes, but just make sure that it's the exact right number, because if it's not, it means the spark plug is wrong. It's got a different heat zone or something like that. So for that, I put down an X and I asked for a new spark plug with the correct item number. Next, you want to check the spark plug itself. Make sure that it looks clean. Like, is it clean? It looks like there's no debris. It's not worn out its useful life yet. So I think this looks pretty good. It's pretty clean. And then you'd move on to checking the gap right here. They give you a tool. I don't have the tool with me, but it's a tool to check how far that gap is. You slide it in and see if it's correct. Mine was not actually correct. It was off by like a tiny bit. So I wrote that down in my notes, but it wasn't like a big enough deal that I really made a mention of it. I kind of tried to bend it back into place, but besides that, I measured it at 0.02 inches, and it's supposed to, I measured it at 0.03 inches, and it's supposed to be 0.02. So I put that down on my paper. I think that way you don't lose any points for that, because you recognize it and you said that you know the right range. All right, so that's good. The muffler condition. Spark arrestor screen blocked or missing. Here was another issue for my event. I'm gonna use a power drill just to make it quicker for the video. You're not gonna have a drill with you during the event, so practice doing this by hand, but just for the sake of the video, I'm gonna do that with a power drill. All right, so the muffler condition. This looks pretty good, right? It looks normal. They're gonna give you some pliers. With the pliers, what you can do is you can take the spark arrestor screen out. And what I had in my event is the whole screen was missing, so I had to ask for a new part, and I could put it back in at the end. But with the pliers, you're just gonna kind of bend this tab so that you can get to the spark arrestor screen. You can pull that out. Just see if it looks like it's in good condition. If it's blocked or clogged or anything, you can ask for a new one. They go over cleaning it in the workshop. You don't really need to clean it. They're not gonna have a torch for you to clean it. So if it was dirty, you just ask for a new one, I think. But if you wanted to clean it, they have like a torch that you could burn all the extra stuff off. But you wouldn't do that in the exam. So this looks good. Once it's good, you can put it back. Just kind of bend that back into place, and actually with that, I just like to do it with my hand. A little easier. That way, the screen's gonna stay put, it's not gonna leave. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That was an issue for me. Total, I had 5 faults on the machine. And so far we've done 3. The sticker, the spark plug, and the spark arrestor screen. So now I'll move to the back of the paper. See, we've done pretty much like most of the stuff, and we've only taken off one cover, so that's kind of nice. So now you're gonna check the exhaust port. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the muffler off.
Sometimes these parts are a little bit tighter. You gotta kind of use some muscle. A little bit of elbow grease.
Also, they had me wearing gloves, by the way. So I had some like latex or nitrile gloves. So if you want to practice wearing those so that it's not like weird for you when you get to the event, you could do that. All right, same thing here with the exhaust port. You're gonna check the exhaust port once you take the muffler off. And they'll have a flashlight for you so you can kind of see down in there. And you just want to spin, as you're looking down there, you spin the flywheel and look and see if any scratches are present. You look and see if there's scratches on the wall or on the piston, or if the ring is loose or broken. This one is pretty good. So usually, like for main components, I don't think they're gonna put any faults in like the engine itself, but you're supposed to go through it on a checklist. So for that right there, I would say no carbon deposits. It looked good. No, the piston condition was good. Piston rings were free. They wiggle a little bit, which is how it's supposed to be. And the cylinder wall condition was good. Next, you look at the cooling fins on the flywheel. That's these right here. Just see if they're cracked or blocked or anything's wrong with them. And then next, you're gonna check the air gap. And for the air gap, what they do is, I don't have this tool either, but they'll give you, part of your kit includes a magneto gap tester. So this is the magneto right here. This is the other part of the bit. When it's right there, it should be like 0.002 inches wide. And they have like a little piece of metal that you can stick in there and see if it slides in and out easily. If it slides in and out way too easily, then it's too big of a gap, and you can adjust it by loosening these screws, putting it a little closer with the guide in. Or if it's too tight and it doesn't pull back out easily, like if you put the metal in and you slide it in and then you can't pull it out easily, it might be too tight, and you can do the same thing. Loosen these, kind of just adjust it a little bit out, and then tighten them back up real tight, and then that should be good to go. So it should be, I think it's 0.002, but that's also in your notes. It's been over 2 weeks since I did it, so I kind of am forgetting some of the studying I did. But you can even write down, if you know the correct gap, then you can write it down so that you don't lose any points on it. So that's good. Does the fuel have a stale odor? Debris in the water, or debris or water in the tank? Is the color of the fuel good? These things are all kind of not going to apply during the exam because there's not really any fuel in the tank to begin with. So what you'll do here is you can still open it up and just make sure there's no debris in there. Nothing too big. There might be some dust and stuff. There was some dust in mine, but it wasn't really an issue. Does the fuel filter appear dirty or restricted? So for this, they'll give you like a tool to reach down in there and get this out, but I don't have it, so I'll just use my hand. This is the fuel filter. It looks clean. If it's dirty or torn or otherwise damaged, then you're gonna wanna ask for a replacement part. Mine was good though. Yeah, so this is the next part that I had a fault with. So what you do is you can take the fuel filter off, right there. And I had a hole in the gas line, and you do a pressure test. They have a thing you can connect to the fuel line, pump it up, and see if it holds pressure. Mine did not hold any pressure. There was a hole right there in the fuel line, so I had to ask for a new hose. And for the hose, I just wrote down the exact same number that's on the hose already for when I asked for the new part, and that worked pretty good. They didn't say anything about it. But that should work because it's the exact same part. Anyways, there was a hole in that, so make sure you know how to do that. You're just gonna have a little, it's like a little gun basically, and it has a hose on it. You connect it to this and you pump it up, and then there's a gauge that tells you if it's holding or not. So because it was broken, I had to take it apart and get a new part for it. And you also have to do this anyways to pressure test the carburetor, which you don't have to do if the fuel line doesn't have a hole in it. But since it did have a hole in it, you have to separately pressure test the carburetor. So this take these two nuts off. There we go. Let's kind of give you some more access to the fuel line spots. I'm gonna put that and all these parts over here by the fuel filter. I mean the air filter. And with all these hoses, they give you a tool to help you kind of shimmy it off. It makes it easier to get them off. But since I don't have those tools, what you might need to do is you might need to take off this extra covering. Actually, you will need to take this off anyways, so.
It's not really that much slower. Just 3 screws.
Make sure you like look at how it goes on, because you want it to look the exact same when you're done. So he even mentioned if you take that cover off, you should take a picture of how the cables are lined up in here so that you can put it back exactly how it was when you got it. This thing right here, you can take that off and disconnect the carburetor from the trigger, from the throttle. Put that over there. And yeah, like I said, you're gonna take the hoses off before you take the carburetor off if you have that tool that I was talking about. I do not have that tool. All right, there we go. Slide that off. Slide this one off. There we go. You're not gonna do anything with this. This is pretty much completely fine. They tell you in the event briefing not to mess with this too much. Here we have some gaskets. This was my 4th fault, I think. I don't know if I've had 4 already or 5. Yeah. This was torn in half, which makes it impossible to do a good pressure test on the engine. So I had to ask for a new one of these. You can do that right in the middle of the event. You don't have to wait till the end because you need to have a good gasket in order to do the rest of the pressure testing on the engine, so you can just get that right away. Make sure you keep gaskets with the right parts. This one goes over here with the air filter on that side. I'm gonna leave that there though, but I'm gonna show you how to take the fuel hose out. They give you, like I said, you have like a kind of like a tool that you can use, but it's kind of tough. You're just gonna kind of stick like a skinny piece of metal, or I don't know if it's like a plastic tool they gave me. But you basically want to take out like that. And then once that's out, it's a little bit easier to get the rest of the fuel line out. Just kind of shimmy it. This is kind of like a time-consuming part. So you can practice this a few times if you can, and it will help quite a bit. The tools they give you though are way easier than what I'm doing, so don't be too worried that I'm taking like this much time. And also don't worry about time. If you just go nice and slow and get everything, that's better, because then you at least get 100 points. Yeah, so you take that out, you'd ask for a new one, put the new one back in. Just like that. You'd reconnect the fuel filter. And that's pretty much that. You don't do anything with the carburetor, but you do a pressure test the same way you did it with the fuel line. You just connect that little gun thing with a hose and just connect it right there. Or to this one, you can do it to either one and squeeze it, see if it holds pressure. It probably will, because I don't think they're gonna have any issues with that. All right. Now on this side, you do the same thing as you did the other side. You would check with the flashlight. You'd look inside the intake and kind of wiggle the flywheel back and forth to see the piston and see if it's in good condition and everything. It probably will be, so wouldn't be too worried about that. Another thing you can do, okay, let's see. So we've done fuel filter, fuel line, pressure test the tank for leaks. So now that you've done that, what you can do is you can pressure test the tank. And you're gonna do that by closing the lid up nice and tight. Make sure it's tight or else it could leak air out of there. It makes it a little bit tricky to see where the problem would be. With the gun that you have to pressure test, you're gonna stick it into one of these, and then the other one they're gonna have like a little thing that you can plug it with. Then you're gonna pressure test it, see if it holds pressure. Then you're gonna switch it to the vacuum test by like twisting like a knob, and it will slide the ring to the side. That switches the gun to vacuum. And then you're gonna pump really fast and see if it continuously goes back to 0, because this little vent here should be allowing air into the tank so there's no vacuum effect. So yeah, that should let air in, but it shouldn't let air out. Vacuum test the tank. Intake side of piston condition is good. Impulse passage clear. So here is the impulse passage right there. They're gonna give you a little bit of grease or oil, and what you do is you just put a little bit of grease or oil over that hole, and then you're gonna wiggle the fly wheel back and forth like this. And you should see, when you do that, it should suck the grease or the oil in, or it should push it out. Either way, as long as the grease or oil is moving a little bit when you do that, then that means there's impulse, which is good. If it's not, then that's bad, then it's at fault, you should put it down. Vacuum test the crankcase. Okay, so now I had to get a new one of these, put the gasket on, and what they'll do is they'll give you it's called a flange. You're gonna put this flange right over here, line it up and screw it on, make it really tight, and then you use the vacuum side of the pressure gun, and it's very important too, you can get a new spark plug and put it in as well. You need the spark plug in to test the pressure in the vacuum on the crankcase. So don't forget that, that'll be a big problem. Also, if you ever have any leaks or anything for any of the pressure testing stuff, they have like a bottle of water with soap in it. You can spray around and see where it's leaking. I didn't really need to do that though. All right. So yeah, spark plugs in, you put the flange on, you connect the gun, and first you do the vacuum test. Vacuum test crankcase specifications. I don't remember the specifications, but you vacuum test it, make sure it holds. And while it's holding, kind of wiggle the flywheel back and forth just to like ensure that it's holding properly. After that, oh, I almost forgot. You need to put this back. But what they're gonna give you is, they'll give you like pieces of rubber that you're gonna put down in between the muffler and the exhaust port. And that's gonna seal up the crankcase. So like you put this on only halfway, and then you slide the pieces of rubber on with it, and then you tighten it really good so that no air is gonna leak out. And then you do the vacuum test, wiggle the flywheel, and then you switch to pressure, test it, wiggle the flywheel while you're testing it, while it holds for 20 seconds or something like that. If the values don't hold, you can spray the soapy water, figure out where it's leaking, and then write it down. I don't think I have to fix it though. Crankshaft excessive end play or excessive side play. So if this is wiggling to the side or up and down, then that's bad. This is pretty sturdy. It should always be sturdy. It shouldn't wiggle to the side or up and down. Pressure test the carburetor. I already mentioned that. You just connect the pressure tester to this right here and test it out. And then that's pretty much it. When you're done with the pressure test of the crankcase, you obviously want to loosen the muffler, take the pieces of rubber out, and then tighten it up all the way back into place so that it's all ready to go. If you have any other observations, then write it down here. This part is important too. They'll kind of explain that in the event run through, but you'll basically go fill up, once you've done all the repairs, you go fill up your tank to halfway full. Go outside, make sure you wear your ear protection and you have your eye protection on the whole time. And you turn it on, turn it on, and then you're gonna pump this a few times until it sucks gas into the bubble. And then once it sucks gas into the bubble, you're gonna pump it like 3 or 4 more times. And then that will ensure that there's gas in the engine ready to go. Then you do a few pulls till it starts on choke. And then you can take it off a choke and do like 1 or 2 more pulls, have it start running. Just remember the RPMs for idle and the RPMs for max speed. And you're basically just gonna, if it's off, you're just gonna adjust these screws a little bit here. There's like an H and an L. So if the RPMs for the low throttle is wrong, you can adjust the screw. If it's high throttle is off, you can adjust the screw. And this one will kind of adjust the throttle, basically how far it goes back to. So you probably don't mess with that one unless you have to. Do these ones first. And they'll have a guy there who will kind of help out with the test of that. They have a tool that can check exactly how many RPMs your engine is running at. All right. So yeah, that's basically it. Taken apart. Remember how everything goes back together, and just put it all back together as quickly and as efficiently as you can, but don't go too fast because you might forget things, and that will slow you down actually. So slow is smooth and smooth is fast in this scenario. Just do your best to put it back exactly how it's supposed to be. It'll save you time. Be really methodical about how you do everything. All that. Make sure you don't forget any gaskets. That's what I forgot a gasket, and I had to take some things apart and put it back on, so that probably cost me a few minutes. But yeah, besides that, there's not really much to it. It's pretty simple. If you just practice a few times taking it apart and putting it back together so you get pretty quick and familiar with all the parts, I think you'll do great.